Okay. Welcome into the weekly struggle. This is our very first episode here, and today I have with me Scuba Steve Moe. Steve, say hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Yeah, so we're just now finally getting this set up after Scuba Steve was tattooing himself all day long. So, Steve, why don't you tell me about yourself?
Oh, man. Recently sober, 5 months here in a week and a half.
Congrats.
Yeah, so we'll see how everything's going, it's slow progress, but it's baby steps. That's all that matters, baby. You know,
And you went to where in California?
Hotel California. If you guys are looking for rehab, whew, highly suggested. Right there on the beach is fucking beautiful.
And there's all those fucking exotic cars and shit as your neighbors, or what?
Yeah, billionaires and neighbors. You're right on the beach, right there, and what the hell is the name of that? South of Huntington. Well, anyways, you can look it up.
So you were there for 3 months?
I was there right before 2 months.
2 months.
Yep.
Nice. And I saw the place looked pretty fucking nice. Like it was like you were moving around rooms and shit, right? Like you guys were like moving around.
Yeah, there was like 3 different stages. There's a detox where you're not allowed to leave or anything like that. You just sit inside, and then you get bumped up to residential, and you get some freedom. This place is awesome because you keep your cell phone. A lot of places, I guess, apparently you don't get phones at all, so you have no connection to the outside world, nothing.
So it's like you're in jail then.
Yeah, exactly.
But so this place was completely different, and they let you do whatever.
Yeah, so once you get to residential, you get your phone, and after your first 72 hours, I think it is, you get to go walk around, things like that. You can check out by yourself for up to 2 hours at a time, and you got to come back and check. But typically, if you're cool, the RAs are cool, and they'll sit there and be lenient with you as long as they know you're not messing around with them and trying to get loaded while you're out.
Okay, so just for everyone listening, what is an RA? What does that mean?
Residential advisor.
Residential advisor.
Yeah, I think there's a different name for them, but that's what we call them.
So they're just the ones that keep you in check.
Yeah.
They're like the warden of the household.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They have someone in the house 24/7, that's been sober at least a year. They all kept telling me, yeah, Steve, just stay here a year, then you can just start working,
Yeah.
Fucking everybody loved me.
Yeah.
Like, hell no, I'm trying to get out of here. I'm sure they would have wanted me to stay as long as possible. Freaking shit was pretty goddamn expensive.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I got insurance.
Insurance covered that?
For the most part. It was just a deductible I had to pay.
Oh, damn, that's not bad.
Yeah, it was pretty freaking expensive.
Yeah, all the places around here in Washington, they all seem pretty run down, almost like a...
it's all location type of thing,
Yeah, but...
it's hard to be disappointed when you're down there in SoCal and things like that.
Yeah.
Sunshine, women walking, ocean right there.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get me a longboard cruise up.
Oh, yeah. Then you absolutely lived on Snapchat.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure I was always on Snap. I had to make people jealous.
Yeah, and then every day you're like, let's get it, dude. Motherfucking fit check, dog.
That's my slogan, man. Get it.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's crazy. So you're back here, you're sober, and you're back to work.
Yep. Yeah. I got back, took like 2 more weeks off of work, try to get into good habits and things like that. But, well, shit's hard to keep it going, because I went from basically having pure freedom throughout my day to 8 hours of it being taken up by work, so
Yeah.
it's hard to maintain those healthy habits that I was keep going, or that I started and keep them maintained. I honestly should have stayed for 3 months. They say the first 30 days you you're finally starting to learn new things. And then after 60 days, you start applying, or something like that. You start applying them. And then in that last 30 days, within the 3 months, you start applying them to your life and truly start living them. So, I mean, I was learning them, applying them, but then I didn't. And that I should, in that last third month, I could have actually applied them to myself and had them actually be habits, things like that. So, I mean, it's all hit or take.
You're still kind of, you came back with a book full of shit that you wrote down,
Yeah.
and you're constantly sending me like motivational text messages every single day when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, occasionally we'll go back and forth about it. I forget what the one you sent me today was, but I said that was a good one. I remember I texted you back, said, "Oh man, I like that one." And then I started forwarding him over to my good buddy Jeff, and he seems to like him also. Sometimes I modify them and add some more stuff to them,
Oh yeah, there you go.
depending on what the person's going through.
Yep.
There's a couple people that I kind of send them to. You can go ahead and read it.
Okay, yeah. So the one I sent today is you must remain focused on the life you have. Never let outside influences deter you from your purpose. I keep pushing for the life I want, but I keep losing patience and knowing that it is a long process and baby steps are required. I need to remember that I am on the right path and not let stinking thinking and self-destructive behaviors get the better of me and stay focused on today. Then I always finish it with much love always.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sending it to your brothers that you love, brothers, sisters, whoever.
Yeah, my list is pretty good now, so I mean it makes it kind of difficult, so I just broad spectrum it.
Right.
It's when I was just messaging one person, it was easier just to keep the focus on things they were going through, but with me bouncing around all these different ideas, it's like, shit, I totally forgot about applying that in my own life, so, I mean, theoretically, it's helped me, and because it's a cycle, you got to remember, it's hard to keep yourself number one at all times,
Yeah, I mean,
it's easy to put yourself on the back burner.
I think that's a problem that I've always had, because I'm always trying to please other people and this and that. But a thing that I heard the other day, which is what I think I already texted you about it on who's on the Sean Ryan show, and it was, I think Tyler Gray said it. He's that Special Forces guy.
Okay.
He's a producer of that show SEAL Team on Paramount.
Okay.
Real good show. But he said that you are, what did he say? Now I can't remember. No, he said we know who we are better as children, because as we grow, constantly walls are being put up in front of us by society, parents, grandparents, friends, and they steer us away from what we truly wanted to do as kids. And then, life experiences make us who we are today, but there's been tons of walls put up throughout the last 25 years for me. And I mean, I wanted to be a firefighter when I was little, and I did a little volunteer work.
You pursued that a little bit.
A little bit, but it kind of just fell right into my lap when I moved to Easton and met the assistant fire chief, and then was like, man, I kind of want to do that. And I didn't pursue it. And then I was doing my garden, and then I posted on the Facebook page, and I was like, hey, does anybody have a rototiller I can buy or rent or whatever? And this guy that lived right behind the fire station, like right there, he was like, yeah, come get mine. You can keep it for as long as you want, like a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And so I went over there, and then he was like, man, you should volunteer for the fire department over here. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, man, they're looking for volunteers. It's like, shit, I was just thinking about that, like, not that long ago when I drove up this road and I saw a sign, volunteers needed or whatever. So I ended up doing it. And then, I was into it for a while. And then eventually it kind of fizzled out. There were some calls that I went on, that I liked. And then there was the call where I got to handle my first person dying that kind of fucked with me a little bit. The guy was already basically dead when we got there. Come to find out later on, after the fact, like 2 weeks later, he had taken a pill when nobody was looking to kill himself. So that was kind of sad. But I wasn't CPR certified, so I could not touch him because, I wasn't certified. They wouldn't let me do it. And so the way that they do CPR there is it's like, it's quick and no breaths, because when you're pumping hard enough on a chest, you're compressing the lungs just enough to get enough oxygen. Yeah, so it was like speed rounds. I forget what he called it. It was, I don't know, there's a way that they call it, but it's fast. They're like, they go for 2 minutes. One person's going for 2 minutes, another person gets next to him, and another person's on the other side. So while they swap, somebody, if they're doing a loop around or whatever, the person across from them can just jump in, or they get quick enough, their hands positioned right, and they're just going nonstop. And then the paramedics were there pushing epi and all this and that. Nothing. They were just wasting, resources for people that actually need it. Because this guy was already rigor. Like he was.
Yeah. Well, once your heart stops long enough, it starts damaging the brain.
Yeah. So I mean, if it wasn't like what they said, if it wasn't for his family there, like yelling and screaming, and this was like a drug house. And so it was sketchy. There was no cops there, and I was standing in the hallway, and these guys are behind me pacing back and forth. Man, why don't you just fucking save him, man? Save him, man. Little did they know. But cops finally showed up and took control of the shit. And I'm just sitting there watching these guys just do rounds on this guy, and he's like foaming at the mouth, laying on his back, like just no life. Like you could see there's no life in this guy. And it was just like, man, I could not sleep. I didn't tell anybody like how I actually felt about it until just now. But I could not, like I got home and I was like, man, what do I do? Like, do I play Call of Duty or like, what do I do? I'm not in the mood to do anything. So I don't know. I tried to sleep and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And man. Yeah. So I think out of the year and a half, 2 years, like the second year, I didn't even really go on any calls, off and on. Like they almost told me to come get my shit several times because I just wasn't going on any calls, not going to any drills or anything like that. And so towards the end, before we moved back, I was showing my face around again and kind of this and that. Didn't go on any calls, but eventually it was just like, hey, I'm moving. Yeah, so today I actually returned my radio and pager and all that to a guy that's going to be heading over there. He's moving over there, and he's with the department. So, but yeah, shit kind of fucked with me. I don't know if that's what made me have more anxiety and depression and this and that, but it definitely did fuck with me. And I got over it eventually. I still went to the drills and shit after that because that was in the beginning. Some lady was drunk at the campground and face planted into a rock, wasted, chasing her dog, and forehead was split open, bleeding all over the place. Yeah, that was a good one. That one didn't fuck with me. She was laughing and wasted. And she's like, I fucked myself up chasing my damn dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Where are you guys from? Oh, we're from the west side. We're from the west side. I'm like, damn.
Goddamn coasties.
Damn coasties. Yeah. Like, shit, man. So yeah, I pursued firefighting a little bit, but then what really, I think, stood in the way, another wall, society wall, like I was saying before, COVID. And there's a lot of people that think different things about COVID. I don't know if we even want to get into that right now, especially not in the first episode, because there might be a lot of people that need and want to listen to this podcast but might be turned away because of our thoughts on COVID. So we'll just keep it at that. And but yeah, so COVID happened, and then they were requiring Seattle did it. I actually lost my job working in the watershed because I refused to get vaccinated because it was brand new.
Yeah.
Everybody was like iffy on what the hell is it gonna do? What's the side effects? They're like, I don't know. We just came up with this in a couple days. Yeah, it'll be fine. We don't know if you're gonna drop dead in 5 years or 2 days or what. And I had a friend's buddy who was like a 19-year-old kid, perfectly healthy. He got the Pfizer vaccine. 2 days later, he was just, walking, and he just dead.
Damn. I don't
His heart just his heart stopped, and he was gone. It's terrible. It was sad. It was it screwed my buddy up pretty good because kid was working for him, and so it's terrible. I know a lot of people it's happened to. Like, I mean, my dad got vaccinated, and has this mysterious seizure problem now. Doctors can't scan him enough, and they can't find anything wrong with him.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I wonder if it was the vaccine. My dad's like, oh no, I was having seizures before I got vaccinated. Like, I don't know, dude. You can't even remember my birthday now that half your memory's gone from all the seizures you've been having, so who knows. But yeah, so I didn't do firefighting. And now I work for the railroad, and that fell into my lap. Just mysterious ways things happen. Like, Lord works in mysterious ways. So, like my buddy Jeff that I met living in Easton, he was trying to get me to work for the railroad for months, like 6 months. Eventually, I applied back in September and got hired like 2 weeks later. And I've been there ever since, last 10 months. So, just been going with that, struggling with anxiety and depression in between, and just keeping on trucking.
Yeah, that's been my biggest thing is struggling with depression, I used to take things hour by hour. I used to preach that.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and now I start seeing myself focus on bigger pictures, and I focus on like weeks ahead of my time. And I don't know why, but you remember that saying I used to tell you. If you're living in the past, you're experiencing depression. If you're living in the future, you're experiencing anxiety. The only time you experience peace is if you're living in the now,
That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, and it's like...
That makes you think.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, I keep forgetting it. It's like, no, hold on. You just need to remember being in right here, right now.
So what if, say, okay, living in the past, that's depression. So say, what if your past was really good and the now is really shitty? Then what? Then what's that?
It just adds to your depression, really. Because things used to be good and you're dwelling on your past, It's like, things used to be so good. I mean, that's kind of how I think sometimes, It's like, fuck, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that sometimes. There's some things, but I mean, there's not really much to my past growing up other than like childhood. Childhood was good. And then it was middle school, still good. Started fucking off, smoking weed, whatever, drinking. And then since I was fucking off in school, I got diagnosed with ADHD, got put on Adderall, got to high school, drunk as hell every day, just getting suspended for being drunk, distributing alcohol. And then, Adderall trading for oxys and this and that, and there's like a long period of time where it's all a blur up until I snap my leg in half. And that's another story for a whole different podcast. My Cayden's life story. That'll probably be episode 2. But yeah, I've been through hell. I still go through hell occasionally, but we're here. We're trying to do something good here. We're trying to help people. So yeah.
Yeah. So you take anything from it, that's what our goal is. Yeah, I mean, shit, my high school days sounded pretty damn similar, except after my car accident that I got into, that's a whole nother story for a different time. But I rolled my car, died, got airlifted.
Well, you died? Okay, now I think you gotta tell the story in a short amount of time now.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I'll try to sum it up. I was at a house, or I was bouncing party really.
Was this in high school?
Yeah.
So you were 17, 18?
Yeah, 17, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then, I was bouncing around party to party. Yeah, it was right before my senior year, so I was 17. And, I was going past a car, friggin' went in the oncoming lane, it was night, and then some guy pulled out and was coming my direction because he didn't look both ways. He only looked one way, you know. And as soon as you came, I freaking slammed on the brakes, went behind the car I was gonna pass, overcorrected, win the ditch, rolled 7 times. Collapsed both my lungs. Or trying to remember. I've been airlifted.
I mean, that would cause you to die. I think you wouldn't breathe, you'd die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you did something that made you die.
Yeah. So the helicopter landed, and then when the helicopter landed, they shut off the engines and everything, which made everyone at the scene completely crazy, because they thought I died. I did flatline, but after some time, they managed to get me revived and heart beating again. They started up the helicopter, flew me out to Harborview, and I was in a medically induced coma for a week, I think. And this whole story is what I've been told.
Oh, yeah.
I have no recollection of it whatsoever.
Well, you're out cold. I mean,
yeah, I was dead, so it's kind of hard for pick up your memory. But so after that, that was due to drinking and driving. I was completely hammered. And then, so after that, my mom went to check me into rehab, but I didn't know it was. She was trying to trick me and say, "Oh, we're getting your blood sugar tested, because your sugar content was really high." And I was like, all right, whatever. And so when I went in, I told them the truth of how much I drank and everything. And they wanted me to go to inpatient, but stuck it to outpatient. And then, I had no intention of getting sober back then. It was high school. I was partying all the time.
You weren't even 21.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so really, all my buddies at school, they would hear me coming from the parking lot. They'd be like, "Oh, Steve must have got UA'd yesterday at rehab," And I was like, because I would be fucking hammered. You only got 1 drug test a week, so it's like, if you got it, you better celebrate now.
Yeah.
Before they can test you again. And geez, after I got tested, I would be drinking from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep until roughly, because they could test for alcohol about up to 3 days. So, yeah, I was just partying my ass off as much as I could, as often as I could, without getting caught for more trouble.
Damn. And so from then, after your accident, you didn't stop drinking?
After my accident, I stopped drinking for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, you were probably on a bunch of painkillers, right?
No, I've never been a big pill guy, to be honest.
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
I really was.
I don't know. Psychedelics, that was kind of my thing.
Shrooms, acid.
Oh, yeah.
Never done it. I took a shroom pill once, but it was like a concoction of a bunch of different shrooms mixed in a bag. Like it was powder, and they put it in capsules.
Oh, yeah.
It just made me smile for like an hour, but then I was drinking, so I don't know.
Yeah, the most acid I've ever done, I took 20 hits at one point, and I do not suggest that. If you want to be gone for a long time, and dude, I was sweating out of my head so bad, it was freaking nuts.
So how much acid does a normal person usually take? Like one? Half?
Or one.
And you did how many?
20.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
How did you survive? Can it not kill you?
I don't know.
Yes, people, it can kill you. Don't.
Well, I'm sure your brain can bubble and things like that, but yeah,
Bubble?
yeah.
Will like melt your brain?
Yeah.
Your brain just starts oozing out of your ears, and then you're just.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. Well, that was also when I was doing quite a bit of acid every week, and like 6 hits at a time when I would take it. So your tolerance does actually build to it.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, most people like to chill, stay in, or stay in one place when they're on acid, but
Or like for their first time, they have like a trip babysitter, and they lock them in a room or something.
yeah. I just say, go fuck yourself, I'll see you later.
You just go. What? Just take off driving?
Oh, I have drove on it a couple times, yeah.
Oh, I feel like that wouldn't be very good.
Oh, I don't know. It's, my tolerance is pretty high, I guess. It's difficult, but it can be
Jeez.
done.
Wow. Yeah, I guess the only really drugs I've ever done was oxy and morphine and like Vicodin. Uh, I never once touched coke. Only touched weed and Adderall, but Adderall was prescribed, and I hated the way it made me feel. That's why I was trading it for.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Coke, but I love the way it smells. You know?
Yeah. And where did that get you?
Oh man, that was honestly my turnaround. I went probably 2 years, pulling 3-day benders, for the weekend and things like that. And then, like the last couple months, I just started not going to work anymore because I didn't want to show up drunk or high. And it's like, well, I haven't slept for like 3 days, so kind of hard to not be that and go to work.
Yeah.
And and so I just kept blowing off work, and then my spree started turning to 5 to 7 days, constantly. And then basically my rock bottom moment was like no more money coming in, and I spent my last dollar at the casino. It's like, damn.
And that was less than a year ago.
Yeah, that was almost 5 months ago. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. It was. What do we got here? I got it on my phone. I think I'm at 139 days, so it was about 145 days ago. Yeah, almost 5 months.
That's
I
not
was
that
sitting
long
there in
ago.
the casino, spent my last dollar. I was up to 4,500 at the casino at one point. Fucking lost it all. Fucking, I mean, if I would have left the casino, I could have kept my bender going for a little bit longer. But
You needed to hit rock bottom.
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I think that's what I was going for. I mean, not literally what I was trying to go for, but subconsciously, I think my body was telling me I need something to draw that line. You know.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting there and I was like, dude, I only got one or two paths I could take right now. And it's like, all right, one, I become a drug dealer, stop talking to my family, I can
Yeah.
just live on the run forever, just fucking.
Go to Mexico, work for the cartel.
I mean, I was like, dude, I might as well just fucking buy as much or try to get as much as I can, fucking run town to town, sell it, and then fucking just live on a whim. And I was like, oh, I'm too old to be doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I need to fucking get my shit together, dude. And then I was like, because I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I can't.
Right.
I tried managing my intake of drinking and substances for fucking years, man. And then finally that's what just drew the line. I'm like, all right, that's what stopped me for a long time. It was like, dude, the rest of my life is a long time to go without drinking,
Yep.
And yeah, so, I mean, because I had a nice looking bank account, fucking had everything lined up for me and everything. I could throw it all away, you know. And yeah, while I was sitting in the casino debating about whether I need to get my life together or fucking go on the run, freaking my mom called begging me to come home. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll come home. And I kind of filled it in, and then I was like, well, hold on. Can you send me $200 first, though? God, I was such a dick, dude. And she did send it to me. I lost it at the casino. I
Oh
was still
God.
sitting in. But yeah, then I went home, basically slept for 3 days, and then we were driving off to Cali for that whole new life, Yeah, I mean, it's something that I plan to stick to. I got it tatted on me, reborn 32/23. So
Nice.
plan on sticking to it.
Well,
We'll see what happens.
well, congratulations. It's that's solid. That's a good start. I mean, 139 days. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's the time seems to go by so fast, yet so slow at the same time. I was actually talking to my grandma about this the other day. I was like, weeks seem to fly by. And it's like, oh, well, when you're using it anyways, time seems to fly by. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, when you're up for 5 days and considered as one day, That makes time go by pretty fast.
Yeah.
Grandma thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. She seems pretty funny herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, yeah, that's wild. So you were there in Cali, and so your first 2 weeks probably went by pretty damn slow, though, right? It was probably pretty painful.
Oh, no, I mean, I tried sobriety kind of last summer, but I only made it. I mean, I basically went without drinking. I was doing other drugs, but I knew drinking was what caused the most of the issues. But then, yeah, and then so once I decided to start drinking again, man, that's when I took off downhill. Yeah, so yeah, it was yeah. Oh shit! So that was like August to March. What is that? 6 months. I was just up for basically weeks on end.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it definitely took a toll on my body. Freaking, I would go like 7 days without eating, 5 days without drinking water. One time I was sitting there walking around and fucking my ring fell off.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I lost fucking 10 pounds of just water weight.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, shit. All right, maybe I should drink some water instead of vodka,
Just walking around with a bottle of vodka and a
Yeah.
brown bag.
Yeah, or no, I would mix vodka and twisted teas, call them twisted stees.
Twisted Steez.
No, yeah, Steve, that's me.
Yes.
And boy, I was twisted.
Yeah.
Geek, twisted, loaded. That was the motto.
That was Steve's motto.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I even got that tattooed on me, too.
Twisted Steez?
No, geek, twisted, loaded.
Oh, that's what GTL stands for. You just did that the other day.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a lifestyle. Or it's a mentality, I guess. I mean, because you hear me, I still run around and be like, bitch, I'm geeked though, dude.
Yeah, even though you're not.
Yeah, dude, it's a mentality, dude. Fucking some of my screws are loose, some might even be missing, who knows?
Probably. I mean, staying up 7 days at a time, I think that'd probably make you.
Handfuls of acid,
Yeah, taking 20 times the amount that you should be taking. Yeah, I think that would. Yeah, that'd probably mess with your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I was popping oxys and then drinking heavily, like hard liquor, and then I'd end up just puking my guts out, and then I'd end up, drinking more or taking more oxys, and I was just so fucked up for so long. I'd come home looking like shit, smelling like cigarettes, because being on oxy made me want to smoke like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And
hey, same as Coke, dude.
oh yeah. Well, I never did that, but I smoked like crazy. And I'd come home, I guess my whole family said I just looked like shit. I looked like white as a ghost, scrawny as shit. I probably wasn't really eating much. I was probably living off like SpaghettiOs or raviolis or some shit.
Right.
Had no money. I was just, insurance was paying for my prescription Adderall that I was trading for oxys, whatever, eventually morphines, because the guy was out of oxys. So I was getting 30 milligram morphines. I was on that. And then, eventually came like April 20, or that was like towards the end of April in 2016. We were out riding. I hadn't taken any that day. I drank beers and shit. And then we had a freak dirt bike accident. Completely snapped my leg in half. And, they came in. The paramedics came. They sat there at the fucking gate out in Ravensdale because they couldn't get in. They needed a gatekeeper to come. So I sat there. I was yelling and screaming, ripping grass out. But when the initial crash happened, he clipped my leg. And then bikes and him went flying off into the grass. And then I landed in the gravel road. I didn't even get like scratched up or nothing. But I was like, holy shit. And I went to stand up. You ever watch that MTV show a long time ago called Scarred?
Oh, man. Talk about flashbacks and not from drugs.
Yeah, dude. I know. And so there's always people breaking their bones and shit, and their limbs are flopping all around. So I went to stand up. That's what my lower leg was doing in between my knee and my ankle. It was flopping everywhere. And that's when I dove into the grass and was yelling and screaming. It was like I didn't know if I should cry, and then I started laughing, and then and then I was fucked. I was so messed up. And then eventually they get there and they split my leg. They were grabbing sticks and shit and all this and that, split my leg. And then finally got to the hospital, and they're like, they just stuffed me away in a room. They're like, all right, whatever. And then I sat there for a while, and eventually they pumped me full of Dilaudid, and it didn't do a damn thing. And that's like, I think that's like in between morphine and ketamine. I think it's somewhere in the middle there. Pumped me full of that, nothing. So then they gave me like 2 or 3 times the normal dose to end up getting me all messed up and loaded, you could say, geeked up. And so I was pretty high. I was pretty happy. It's like, man, wow. That's probably $1,000 high. Insurance is paying for right now.
Thanks, insurance.
Yeah.
Thanks, Geico.
Yeah, thanks for the accident insurance. Yeah, so I was loaded, and they were like, I think they had their little doctor's meeting, the parents and shit. They're like, man, there's got to be something wrong with this kid. Either his liver doesn't work, or he's got an enormous tolerance to these opiates. And it was the second option, but I think the first option, liver failure. I think I was like in the beginning stages of liver failure, and they told me if I would have kept going on that path and not wrecked, which made me end up in the hospital. If that didn't happen, then they said I probably would have been dead like within a week or 2 weeks or something like that. And like my dad told me that he was praying for something to happen to me, like to turn my life around.
Right path.
So I would say that was my rock bottom experience. Because, I had no money. I wasn't working. I dropped out of school, like all sorts of shit. And I was just drunk and high.
And it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
So-called fun.
I was just constantly running away from home and going and just getting loaded.
Wow.
Drunk, high, smoking cigarettes, just pumping myself full of shit.
Yeah.
And luckily I never ended up getting further than pills. But then I was crippled. My leg was snapped in half, so they had me on 3 oxys every 3 hours after they sledgehammered a rod into my tibia and sent me home in a splint.
How long were you in the hospital for?
I think 3 days.
That's it?
Yeah, so I think I stayed there overnight, and then they did the surgery in the morning. And I guess the surgeon came in and had like my blood splattered all over his neck and his chest and shit. Talked to my parents. And yeah, I guess I don't remember any of it really. I just remember being home binge watching Dexter on Netflix. And I watched all 8 seasons or however many seasons there were in like a week. And then eventually I got weaned down off of all the oxys they were giving me, and I withdrawed for like a week or 2. And I'd act like I was sleeping when I hear people get home. And then when they would catch me awake, I would scream at them. Like I would tell my sister, get the fuck out! Leave me the fuck alone! Like, just like talk about a manic state. I was a monster. I do remember some of that, but I'm just going off of what they said.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Rock bottom is not fun, but when you're doing shit like that, it's something you need to do. And then after you get through it, then you got to focus on finding ways to cope with all your depression and anxiety, and not do that, not drink and do other things, not replace an addiction with another one that's going to be just as bad for you.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my things is, it's just, they weren't doing the trade anymore, I would still feel like shit all the time, but I put on that face, act like I was having a great time. But a lot of people knew. I mean, a lot of people were asking me questions, but I just played it off. A lot of people that cared were, right there next to me most of the part. But they're like, Steve, it doesn't seem like you're doing this to party anymore.
Yeah, same thing with me. Like a lot of my friends knew. I think one of my best friends actually had like kind of told my mom towards the end there, and so I think they knew, but they didn't have proof until I was laid up in the hospital, and they had those 3 days to go search everywhere, and they found my baggie of morphine pills in my truck. and they brought him into the hospital, and I got to see him one last time. I remember that. I do remember that part. And it's just like, fuck. I can't go back to that. I'm screwed. They said I was going to die, and it was like a switch flipped, and I was like, man, all right. It's different when a doctor is like looking at you saying like, here's your blood work. You're like a zombie. You're like dead.
Yeah, I honestly never went to the doctor because I didn't want to hear the bad news.
Yeah.
I mean, now I like to go just to check up and see how I'm doing. I mean, before I knew I was doing shit. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear the result.
Yep. And then coming out of all of that, I mean, just recently I went to the doctor and I finally got a primary doctor, and they weighed me for the first time in like a year. I guess last year and all the years before that I was like 136 pounds. And then I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago and they're like, oh yeah, you're 153. I'm like, this damn scale's broken. No way. I'm maybe like 140. It's like, man, people have been telling me my ass is big. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, dude. I'm like, damn, you're getting a butt. I'm like, what the hell's that mean? But yeah, I was 153 pounds. It's like, are you telling me I've gained like 17 pounds since last time I was here? Yeah. Like, this can't be calibrated. Like, yes, this is a very expensive scale.
Yeah, right.
Young men.
Got it at the doctor.
Young men. And so I thought the scale at work was broken. There's like this ancient scale at work, and it was reading 150 some odd pounds. And they're like, it's broken. Nope. This is right. So everybody keeps saying I look healthy now compared to what I was like a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. 8 years ago is when all that, I think it was 8 years ago, rock bottom happened. And then ever since then has been, I did go back to drinking. And then first kid came, and that's what really turned everything around. And I was like, you got to get your shit together. Dad was like, you're not living here anymore if you're having a kid. Kicked my ass out. Then we rented a house, and then we eventually moved to Ellensburg, rented another house, and then moved back to Easton, and then I started working for the railroad. Now we're back over here and still working for the railroad. Doing pretty good. Other than minor anxiety and depression here and there. I am on a antidepressant, which I'd like to get off of because I ran out and I went without it for 4 days. It's like Lexapro. It's a low dose of Lexapro. Went without it for like 4 days because doctor's office was closed on like a holiday weekend, and I felt like absolute shit not taking it for 4 days. I was super dizzy and just felt like shit.
Oh, so it was like withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, it was like your body does some sort of like withdrawal symptoms. I was warned about it. I was like, man, I was at work like, man, why am I so dizzy? This feels so weird. This is like, didn't feel safe. Eventually, it was like, man, holy shit. So then when I finally got them, I took 2 of them because it's like, I was on a small dose. And I know people that were on like 3 times the dose as me. So it's like, I'm just going to take 2 just so it hopefully hits me harder and makes me stop feeling like shit as fast. So now it works. I haven't really had anxiety that much very often. Not much depression. I mean, sometimes I feel lost and I just think about what I can do, or sometimes I'll be in my head, like if something's going good for like a solid couple weeks, I get going, I'm like, man, things are going mysteriously good right now. Something bad's about to happen. And then, things were going good. Moved back over here, and then something bad did happen. Damn dog went missing.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
6 days, and then jumps off an overpass, getting chased by coyotes, breaks both her legs. $10,000 surgery, repaired both legs, and good vibe for today. She gets all her hardware out next Wednesday, so that'll be nice. She'll be free of that burden hanging off of her front leg external fixture.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
My girl.
Yeah, she's a good pup. So, what would you say some things are that people could do to cope with anxiety and depression, like in the moment?
It's something I battle with all the time. For me, I just try to do something productive. If I can get myself to do it, that's the main thing. And the worst part is when I do sit there and I think about things that can make me feel better. and it's like I don't want to do them, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, anything that works towards your health, you know, that's including mental, physical, and spiritual. You know, all three of those should be at the top of your list at all times. You know, um, so either go for a walk, you know, pray, like clean your room. You know, I hear or I forget where I heard it, but a long time ago I heard your room's almost representation of your mental health. When it's clean, you know you have a clear mind. But you can notice on the downfall of your mental health that your room actually does become messier and messier. You know, and you sit there and you cope with it and you're fine. Until one day you're like, oh, geez, I need to clean this up.
Dude, that's so true. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking of it, it's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, man, that is true.
Yeah, because as soon as you want to clean it, you're like, that's the click of your mental health finally starting to get better. And it's like, oh, all right, cool. All right, we need to get this. You know, and then you get those waves of productivity and, you know, you're feeling good, feeling great. You know why? Because you're not thinking of anything else but right now.
Maybe I got to start paying attention to that more. Maybe everybody should start paying attention to that and see if you can see, like, if your room's dirty, kind of think about it, be like, what?
Yeah. Oh, it's totally true.
It's my mental health shit.
Look at mine right now. You know, it's not messy,
No.
but it's on the verge of being disorganized. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, I'm feeling better today, and
That's good.
that's one of my things.
I know yesterday you were having a moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, several.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what did you do yesterday? You sat down and you started tattooing.
I started tattooing myself.
And you said earlier,
Yep.
right when you started tattooing yourself, that's when you finally felt better and you didn't feel
Yeah, because
down on yourself.
I wasn't focused on nothing except for right there, the needles touching my skin. You know, it's like,
And it's hard to miss it.
yeah, you kind of have to freaking be in the moment when you're tattooing yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some pretty nasty ones that I did myself, but I was.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah. You know,
Got to doodle somewhere, right?
that's the name of the game, baby.
Yep. Yeah, basically, I can agree with most, like, everything that you said there about finding something to do. Like with me, I mean, I play Call of Duty or I just try to find something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Like take the dog outside, or like if the kids are screaming and that's setting off some sort of thing in my brain.
Sort of trigger, yeah.
It sometimes I can just walk away out of the room and it's like whatever, but sometimes it sets me off to the point where I need to get out of that. I need to get out of there because it's like I don't want to be mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a good way to catch yourself, you know.
Yeah, that's the last thing I want is my kids being like scared of me because I snap and have like some sort of mental breakdown and yell at them too loud.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, it's easy to set boundaries with friends, family, you know, anyone that's
Right.
adult and coherent enough. But, you know, kids, they love to push those boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like 3 and 4 year olds like what we have now.
Yeah.
It's like you tell them no and they're like, that means yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, right.
Like, let's choke out that cat.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Dude, don't do that. And then he looks at you and smiles and like just chokes her out more. It's like, dude.
Into a serial
Oh my God, Dexter. What is happening? Hey, we watched too much Dexter while you were pregnant. And you stop playing Call of Duty while these kids are in bed watching the TV. Oh, doggies. Yeah.
That's when it always turns into the other parent's kid. You know, it's like, you see your son over there? He's fucking up. It's your son at that point.
Yeah.
Our kid, look at our kid doing something great. No, when they're fucking up, it's your kid.
Yeah. No. Hey, it's a team effort here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are sponges though.
Oh, yeah.
If I play Call of Duty and some nerd kills me, I'm like, oh fuck. And Colton runs across the house. Ah fuck. It's like, no. I need my own room.
Yeah.
I need my own room for gaming.
Yeah, some staying short.
We need a house. I need to get rich and we need a house and I need my own theater with my own Whatever.
And then we can have our own podcast room.
I do need my own podcast room because right now that's why we're doing that over here and not over there. But I guess the kids are gone right now, but they were not earlier.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe I'll have time to do my life story podcast in the morning or something to record something, or I'll be up all night tonight. Who knows? What is it? It's Wednesday. I gotta work tomorrow afternoon.
Oh yeah, so you'll
It's
probably be up
9:30. Yeah, I don't usually fall asleep till like 2 or 3 when I get home at midnight. But yeah, mental health is a real struggle sometimes. A lot of people don't realize it. How
Yeah, the funny thing is, I used to be against it too. Be like, what do you mean you can't just change your mind around? It's like,
it's not that easy.
oh yeah, I know that now. Yeah, it's weird how when it doesn't affect you, it's so curious as to why it happens to other people. You know?
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, after I tormented my mind for so long, now I experience all of the above. But
I mean, there are some people that claim to have no issues with mental health. It's like, I don't know if I believe that.
yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. It's all, yeah, it's a hard one, I mean, there's so many different things you could have wrong. Some things that couldn't even be fucking diagnosed yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, not just for yourself, but not known in the medical field.
Right.
The brain is a complex organ. I don't know.
I think it's an organ, isn't it?
Yeah,
I know you can't. I don't think you can transplant it.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway. I think you can get eyeball transplants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But I'd say we've came quite a long ways in just the last year alone.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm seeing memories from like a year ago, and it was like, whoa.
You've been sending me those Snapchat memories of you. Like you one the other day, you were like just completely wasted. Like, what were you, naked or something? Doing something, just
I
hammered.
think I was sober in that one.
You were getting spray tanned or something? What was it?
I was wearing nothing but river shoes and a goddamn smile, baby.
Oh.
That was when I was living over in Cleveland, and the house I was in didn't have running water, or the well wasn't hooked up.
Oh, so you were bathing.
Yeah, I was bathing in the river.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, dude, I mean.
So if you're like that sober, then you're probably even more crazy drunk.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I've seen some of those.
I can't say on the air, but yeah. I mean, I'm still fucking batshit crazy, though. I love it.
You still have ladies of the evening?
Kind of toned down a little bit.
That's good.
I mean, I was.
Maybe you could find you a sugar mama.
Oh, dude.
Oh, doggies.
No, dude, I'm looking.
Oh.
Hey, ladies, I'm available.
Oh,
Holla
boy.
at you, boy.
Scuba Steve.
Damn
Steve.
you.
Yeah, you can tag your Instagram handle in there if you want to.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. But yeah, we're just wrapping things up here for today's show. Did get in the key points, some key points about what you can do to kind of look out for if you're, not mentally stable per se, per your dirty room or clean room. I guess what if you're a clean freak all the time though?
I don't know. And there's something wrong with you for sure.
Well, OCD, but what does a depressed OCD person do? Start slacking on their OCD, and then their shit does get dirty? Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm typically like to keep my stuff pretty clean, but in my ways of depression, I do nothing but lay in bed. But see, I don't know. It's also hard because you don't do anything when you're depressed and don't do anything.
True.
So it's hard to make a mess.
Right.
So it just slowly accumulates over time.
Yeah, depending on how long your episode lasts, I guess. Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
We'll be doing it again.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in. I'm all in.
All in. Yeah, I'm all in with this podcast too. So, all right, man. Well, everybody, stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll catch you guys later.
Much love always.